and yet, there's double standards in relation to responded to refugees from Ukraine. We did the right thing in Ukraine, we're not doing the right thing by international asylum seekers. And so therefore that is really important. This afternoon I will attend the launch of Councillor Hazel Denautoon in Cherry. Of domestic violence have risen hugely against women and children. We're being told all the time in a terribly point this afternoon, but I think we have to keep you, like Madeline, like Shayla Strange there, said, if you have campaigns, you can make a difference, highlighting the hypocrisy of our rulers. But
thanks, Bríd. Thanks. So,
notwithstanding the point lineage, polling does show people are planning to significant shift towards independent candidates. I'm wondering, do people parties potentially will come home one day? So my question is, do people before office actually want to be in government? And then just Jonathan, I know what you're saying about the narrative. I was canvassing out near your constituency in Clondalkin. From your canvassing, again, polling shows more than one occasion, but a kind of scrap. Given that we're in the last competition amongst the left there, what would you say about why should people vote for you?
Okay, so look, our priority is to, in the interests of ordinary workers. So for the sake of it, if being in that government actually means you prop up the status quo. And we have seen time and time again that because people end up complicating, it has been the cardinal mistake of the left, of the so-called time again, they have benefited from the desire for change, for more equality and for more rights for ordinary people, in order to go in with governments that actually perpetuate the status quo. And as we've indicated, we think that actually people before profits campaigning and people vote. I think we have set the agenda on a whole range of issues. For example, fighting to get a higher proportion than 10% of social housing developments. That was us who argued for that. The tenant in situ purchase scheme. We were the first to argue for that. Years before the government finally implemented it. Right? So actually having a campaigning approach gets real change rather than for what it's actually going to achieve has been a disaster that has done enormous.
I mean, I know obviously after the delay we would hope that what may come out of that are given a very, very clear choice. So a lack of action in terms of left independents who are saying left government and change for people, a government that actually takes on, strives to nationalise the private healthcare system in order to have, and the government on the doors repeatedly in this election. We are the ones who are, like many of the reasons that people and like Bríd has mentioned, there are independent people like Thomas Pringle, people like Jack, make sure that these people actually establishments like people before profit are.
And there's a question.
Yeah, so in terms of our canvas, the whole of my LEA says Christmas, every house at least one, and about a third of it twice. So does the issue of immigration come up on the comments? Well, maybe if I do 100 houses, maybe once or twice. And you also sometimes see an increase of a slight increase of the numbers of people mentioning it. when it's been the main item on the news for several days in a row. So the news sets the agenda for what people are talking about on a day-to-day basis. But if you scratch the surface and start talking to people, you realise that a lot of the stuff that's coming out as a kind of anti-immigration thing, you find out that the people are extremely angry with, particularly around the housing crisis. So you start talking to someone, and then you realise that that person are living in an overcrowded house, has a son or a daughter who's been on the housing list for 15 years, can't move out because they can't get social housing, they can't buy because they can't get a mortgage, and so on. So when you talk to surface, it's really that people are feeling a deep sense of anger and despair in the country. And that's also what and there are some people out there around the housing crisis, around the health crisis and so on, an anti-immigration agenda. And I don't think that the vast majority of Irish people are in any way kind of racist or anything like that. I think people are really fed up with this government, and there is an agenda underneath that. There's a real anger against the government. Make sure that people go out and vote the people who are actually going to stand up against Fianna Fáil and Gael and the establishment.
Oh, I just want to say a quick question. I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
Yeah, because I mean, and there's three ways I found that it comes up. One is interesting, and when I say I don't think immigration is a problem, they say good, and what they've actually been doing is they've been testing it, because this is being put actually are on their side. It comes of other issues like housing, like healthcare. The vast majority of people, I find people that, you know, as we that you know, it's the government that's at fault. The horrific treatment of you know, Irish people with immigrants here who are coming here trying to in common. We're in the same boat a lot of the time, struggling with on the streets who are Irish, who are non-Irish, should be making common cause. And then finally, it's very rare that you find hardcore comes up. As I said, it's actually and in the of other issues.
And then
Just to add that I think that people who are most areas in the lowest socio-economic brackets are the ones that feel up at those who are creating the problems. Our marks in relation to how the Irish were things. And that's exactly what of a campaign that we helped to establish, which was called Raise the Roof, which was involved civil society, all of the political parties on the left, the trade union movement, to mobilise the population on the issue of housing, particularly over the last year. That failure is down, but also by Sinn Féin, when they decided time and time again either not to call a demonstration or stop a demonstration. And the failure to mobilise the population has led to powers, particularly the poorest section of the population, and it is fed into the discussion we're having. Just on the question of the last seat, I do think you get different polls, and if you were to live your life by polls, you'd go mad. And we were at 10% vote, and
That's me.
yeah, he never stops. Both the locals and the Europeans. First of all, Kieran Cup is not demolish the idea that it is the only way of tackling what is at the heart of the as business as usual. Keep going the way we're going. You know, how do we industry? The game is up. You're to have what should be properly public energy companies. These are the things that have to be done. The Green Party will never do it. Never have, never will. So they're not campaigns. Claire Daly a difference. We, however, have a project. Fine Gaelers and the Ursula von der Leyen, the game is up with you. On the bottom up movement, end the climate disaster and mobilise from the people who walk off the standards, building that.
We're going to replace being involved again, and so we have promoted with all and build a mass socialist movement. Right? That's us in the last election, and so we're saying it again. All to the Gael, they that possibility, and that has included then